Great collaboration.
Right.
We're now entering the map room sequence, and I think one of the most beloved of all John Williams film cues.
Yeah. It's sort of the definitive iterations of that theme of the arc. It's interesting. It starts off just in the flutes. We have some low ominous strings,
Right.
but very similar to the instance that we hear with Indy in the book.
Right.
Actually, a little bit more sparse than that. That initial
Right.
orchestration has some female voices, but
We have the bottom of the orchestra a little more pronounced.
yeah,
here.
throughout the sequence, we hear the ultimate contrast in that theme from just being in the flutes to ultimately being with full orchestra, rich arco strings.
This horn
choir.
theme here seems to suggest some of the Nazi danger.
Gosh, I love that. In many ways, his taste for that type of gesture hasn't really changed.
Right.
That type of cue sounds like something you could even imagine in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Similar kind of
So
harmonic
here
gestures.
we have that sort of discovery motif that
Yeah, it's
accompanied
coming
Indy
back.
from the prologue of the movie.
The octave unison.
Not to say that it's a
quarter note
one-to-one motif, but very, very similar phrase.
Now we're hearing. I love how now we're hearing the arc theme with this
and all
flutter
this
of wind.
animation in the strings.
It's
yeah.
totally capturing. His brain is firing. He's connecting the
Right.
dots.
I
you
love
know?
that.
He's getting closer to the discovery.
So here we have a little statement of the medallion theme as Indy is contemplating where to place the staff of Ra, atop of which is the medallion.
Now we get that lovely
Right.
motive of evil.
There's a phrase for film scoring when it's matching on screen action tightly, Mickey Mousing. You can imagine sometimes it's, I think, used in a pejorative way. But I think we'll see in this sequence, and we've already seen in a lot of the movie, I think there's a really, really remarkable balance of that direct reflection of what's happening and some very surprising overlapping
Right.
musical ideas.
You could say one of John Williams' greatest gifts is his
Incredible shot.
ability of taste in that type of thing.
Again, Spielberg has set the stage for a great musical moment here, though.
I
The
love
pace,
this sequence.
Spielberg and Mike Kahn,
This
the pace
gesture
of
right
this
here.
sequence is amazing.
There's that almost
Oh my
religious moment
Truly.
right before the ultimate climax.
And harmonically, we're waiting for the resolution. And as an audience member, you can't help
Look at
but
his face. Look at that
be
discovery.
pulled into that.
Such an iconic moment. Back to Sala in the tent. Yeah, it's amazing. He develops that little motive for Sala running, but it continues once we cut back to Indy
you
and
just-
hearing the arc theme.
You
which
don't
is a counter
feel
melody.
any bumps as you're cutting back and forth between these stories.
Yeah, it's like one
Wow.
theme segues into another, and what was once a melody becomes a counter melody. Oh,
You've got to love Sala's resourcefulness here. It's something that we see about the character. We're introduced to a lot of his resourcefulness in scenes where he's not directly featured. You know,
Right.
the kids coming in and adding the flag. We
That's
haven't
a
had
nice-
many statements of
yeah,
Indy's
that's a
theme.
nice
There it is.
little
And
inverted version of
what is this?
Marion is alive.
I thought you were dead. I must have switched baskets.
Oh,
And I love that we're, again, a great reminder for all composers, we have to live in the present moment, right? If we've seen this movie many times, we know what's about to happen. But right now, this is a romantic reunion. But wait a second. And again, we hear Indy thinking.
Right.
I know where the Ark is, Marion.
Yeah. He mentions the arc. We hear the theme. But also that moment that you were just describing where the love theme kind of inverts on itself and turns a little dark because he's thinking, oh, I need to leave her tied up lest he blow his cover.